you ever seen the perfect dress and just been like, ah, that would be perfect for this specific reason, and then tried it on and it was like so bad looking, like frumpy, and it's just so disappointing. Like, I wanted to have this dress, and in your brain it was like perfect, and then it wasn't. Well, that happened to me the other day. It was a dress that I saw and I thought would be perfect for a gingerbread dress, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I put some cute accessories with this, it'd be perfect. But then I put it on and it was too big, but like only in some places, and in other places it was like too small, and then there was just kind of frumpy, like the skirt wasn't full enough, and it just fell flat. It was so ugly. So I left it behind. I was like, I'm not dealing with this. There's no way for me to accessorize this dress and have it turn into the perfect, what I thought, gingerbread dress. And then the very next day I was like, I am a sewist. What am I thinking? I can alter the dress to make it look like a gingerbread dress. I don't have to use accessories. I can just alter the dress. So I went back to the store. So I got a new dress and it looks adorable on the hanger. I love this little peekaboo back and the bow tie. It's super cute. But wait until I put it on. Okay, so I am wearing the wrong kind of bra for this. But even so, all magic is lost. It is not as cute as I thought. Especially in the back. The bow is too thick and the elastic, I wish it was further down. Like, I wish it was kind of there instead, but even if it is where it is, it's not giving right now. But it has pockets, so of course I have to have it. Anyway, the corduroy texture and the color of it, I feel like just screams a gingerbread dress. So, since it's 2 weeks until Christmas, I thought maybe it would be a nice, simple project to try to fix up this dress to be a gingerbread dress for Christmas. And while I was at the store getting this dress, I also came upon this dress, which is a very similar color, just a little bit darker brown. So it's warmer, and it's way too small for me. So I figure I can use the tool from this dress to zhuzh up the current dress I'm wearing. And I went to the store and came back with a couple of very useful things. So I have white puff paint, which I figured would be good for icing, as well as some red puff paint, also for icing. And I have some holly. I don't know if I'm going to use it for this project, but I will certainly use it for a project at some point. And then, of course, we have to have some bows. So I've got these bows that I'm thinking maybe like on the sleeves or something. I thought maybe right there, but this bow, I love how long the tail is, and I'm thinking this bow will look super cute right here. Although I might pull it so that the bow is a little bit bigger. But that way I've got like these long tails that are like streaming behind the dress. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, we do need to actually fix some of the things, specifically the back. Current plans are to take off the corduroy bow on the shoulder blades. I'm going to replace that with a tulle bow from the other dress, and then I'm also thinking about adding a white insertion lace around the waistband that I can string some red ribbon through, and that way I can also tighten this back bit so it's not just kind of this loose elastic. I haven't decided though. The one thing is, if I do put that bow on the back, then I won't be able to tie the insertion lace, so I might have to add in some elastic where the insertion lace is, so that it'll pull it in and then put the bow on top and you can't see exactly where it is. And then I wound up hardly touching it until Saturday. And I was supposed to wear it on Sunday. So, Saturday morning, let's begin. So the first thing I need to do is remove this tie in the back. Easy to do, I just need to take my seam ripper to the back and cut it from the edges. I do have to keep in mind the orientation that this is sitting in though, because I'm going to use this tie as a pattern to cut out my tool and then sew that back in. And then the next really important thing is the elastic. Originally I had planned on adding new elastic to the back, but then I realized the elastic wasn't broken. It just is a dress that is too big for me. Like, originally the dress is too big for me. And so I decided that the best bet is actually just to open up the casing for the elastic and pull it through so that there's less of the elastic in the casing and it is a little bit tighter. Okay, so trying on the dress after doing some of the fixes in the back. That looks weird. Okay, I just tied that up upside down, so it's stuck in my hair. So the back is there. I do think it would look better with another layer, but I think it's much better off now. And then the elastic looks a lot better too. All I did was take out some of the elastic. I haven't sewn it yet because I wanted to see if it actually did help before sewing it, and it seems to have done so. So I'm just being stabbed by pins right now. It's okay. I'll go ahead and sew this and cut it down and then put it back in place, and then I will also, I think, add another layer of the tulle just to make it a little bit darker, because I just don't think it's dark enough. And I think probably with the back, it's gonna be one of those things where I need somebody to tie it for me and make it look pretty, and then I will never untie it again. So what else needs to be done to make it look gingerbread-y? I do know that it doesn't quite fit on my waist, or underbust, because I think this is more of an empire waist. But I think I'm gonna add in some lace right there to maybe make the waist look a little bit lower. And then I also want a bigger skirt. So I think what I'm gonna do to do that is I'm gonna put some gores in. And I think I'm gonna put 2 gores in right here using this fabric, which is just an off-white fabric. That I've had for a while. It's a scrap from a different project. So I'm thinking of putting 2 gores here, framed by some flouncing, I think, and then also 1 gore back in the center back, which will be bigger. That'll give the skirt a little bit more volume and hopefully a little bit more oomph as well. I'm not going to do anything to the side seams because I like the pockets and I don't want to mess with the pockets. I'm also going to add bows. So I have 3 of these bows. I'm thinking 1 at the top of each of the gores, and also 1 can be used as a choker because I think that'll be super cute. And then this bow can be on top of this gore, so I've got a long tail bow in the back. I might cut it short. Sorry, my cats are doing cat things in the background. I haven't decided yet if I want to cut the bow short or just let it be longer than the skirt. I think that's going to be something I decide on once I put the bow on. I'm also thinking about doing a row of lacing down at the bottom here. Yes, I'm wearing jeans because I just threw the dress on, didn't feel like completely changing. But I'm thinking about at the bottom here putting another thicker lace. So this is going to be a pretty thin lace, and then this down here is going to be a thicker lace, and all of this is going to be off-white, I think, to match the off-white nature of the gore. And then the bottom lace is probably going to go in before I do the slashing for the gores because I want it to work with the gores instead of against. Now that's all the plans. Okay, so I do actually need to cut out a few more layers. I decided to go with 3 full layers of tulle instead of just 2, and I think 4 would have been too much. So redo that portion. I'll cut out the tulle. I'll undo the seams that the dress had to cover the tulle, and then I will sew the tulle back into place.
I also felt that the tulle wasn't strong enough to keep it straight, so I went ahead and did a top stitch over the fabric just to make sure that it stayed.
And by doing so, I actually can pull the elastic out of the side instead of having to do that loop, which makes my life so much easier. I don't have to finagle some sort of seam in the elastic. I can just make it shorter. And that'll be a majority of the fit issues taken care of. So now what I want to do is work on the skirt. Starting with the back seam, because I don't have to actually cut the fabric for that, I'm just opening another seam. So I need to seam rip the back. Unfortunately, I just used the seam ripper like a few hours ago and it's gone. I cannot find it at all. I don't move from that spot when I'm working on crafting, but somehow it's just gone. So I did have to use my thread scissors, which was not fun because it doesn't work nearly as well as the seam ripper. But I was able to eventually get through the seam so that I then had an open back. Alright, here's test try number 2. I know the skirt looks weird at the moment because I put on Cardcaptor Sakura's tulle skirt underneath, but it was because I wanted to see how the back would look with that little extra bit of something going on. I do really like that. I think that will be cute. And I'm much happier with the look of I wound up doing 3 layers of tulle instead of 2. I just thought that little bit of extra was needed. The elastic is fixed, the tulle is fixed. I just need to work on adding my gores now. Now I saw somewhere that I shouldn't go over 6 inches. We'll see what's here. 27 inches? There's no way that's 27 inches. That's 19 inches. That is a bit much. Okay, I think I'll do a strip of 10 inches in the back and then 2 strips of 5 inches in the front. That way I add the same amount of space in the front and back and we'll still have an even kind of skirt. So then I was like, okay, well I'll do 10 inches. But again, it's nothing. So I decided to go with 15, 16 inches, something like that. I don't even remember because honestly, I didn't really measure it. I was just like, yeah, this is big enough. At the bottom, and then at the top, I also wanted to have some inches. Again, didn't measure it, I just kind of eyed it, but I wanted to have some amount of inches at the top because I wanted to pleat it down so that I would get kind of that Victorian ducktail look to the back of the skirt. That, I will say, didn't work out quite as well, so I probably in the future would just make it a gore. Also, I need to cut out some flounces. A really good flounce I've seen that somebody did is they did a spiral, so they wound up getting bigger and bigger as they went, but I didn't think I was going to be able to do that with the limited space on the skirt that I had. So I wound up doing kind of a oval shape. So I cut out an oval on the inside and then an oval on the outside, making the strip bigger on one side and smaller on the other because I wanted the flounce to have more oomph at the top and then just kind of taper off at the bottom. Then I pinned both the flounce and the cotton in place and just sewed back through the seam. Now at the top I have a whole lot of cotton just kind of hanging out, so I want to pleat this down. Originally I had planned on pleating it so that the extra pleating would be on top of the dress, so I went ahead and just kind of finagled it into place, just kind of guessing how the pleats would look good and all that stuff, which is what you're seeing now. But I did wind up putting the pleating actually on the back because I didn't think it looked good with the extra bulk sticking out on top of the elastic. So I finagled it all in place. It was just a simple sewed line through. I did pull on it a little bit because you have to remember the elastic still has to be able to stretch. If you sew the fabric at its smallest level, it will not stretch. So I did pull on it so that it would stretch a little bit, but at this point the center back where the cotton gore is not going to be stretching all that much, but there's enough space around the other portions that it's not too concerning. It was at this point that I realized I have made a mistake. I had intended on attaching a lace little flowery detail at the bottom of the skirt, and I wanted to do so before I added in the gores because that way the lace was kept in place in the seam of the gores. But I didn't do that, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now before I do the front gores, and it's just something that'll have to be there. Now this particular lace doesn't really have a good spot where I can sew it down. Like if I were to do a full straight seam throughout it, then it would be a very obvious seam and it just wouldn't look good. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hand tack down this lace, just kind of pulling my string through in somewhat of a felling seam, just making sure at least I catch the points, but I also go through the loops all the way around the skirt. I also want to add lace onto the waistband. I want the gores on the front to be below the lace, and I think that I need to figure out where the lace is going to be. So I have a smaller straight lace ribbon that I can use at the top, and this one actually has a straight line on it, so I'm going to go ahead and just sew this down via machine, making sure again in the back that I am stretching the fabric as I sew because I do not want this to be unable to be stretched. And when I was sewing down the lace ribbon, I made sure to fold over the excess of the cotton at the top of the back so that any excess fabric was tacked down, and then I could cut that shorter and I'm not having all of this extra fabric just hanging out. And when the gore was in place, I then had to redo the hem that I had taken out in the back for the brown, and then do a by eye hem for the cotton just to make sure that it's got a finished edge. Okay, time for another quick break to try on the dress. I'm gonna have to tack down that lace. It's curling up weirdly and it doesn't look very good. But I'm trying it on with both the tulle skirt and without the tulle skirt because I want to see how the back will look. Whoop. If it's actually fully out. So that's with the tulle skirt. I can't actually see it, so I'm going to be looking at the camera afterwards. But that's with the tulle skirt, and then I still have to do the slashes in the front, and I have to tack down the lace. But I think I'm going to wait to tack down the lace until I have done the slashes because I don't want the slashes to mess with the lace. So the front looked really bad with the tulle skirt, but I'm hoping, because I really like the tulle skirt, I'm hoping once I add the slashes in the front, the tulle skirt will not look as bad in the front. And then this is how it looks without the tulle skirt. I think the back probably looks better with the tulle skirt, just so what little I could see in camera. But yeah, so I've got the lacing done. I've got the laces done. I have not actually attached the bow yet because I wanted to see how it looked before I attached it. So the bow is just kind of hanging there. But other than that, the back is pretty much finished except for the icing, like the puff paint icing. But I'm not sure I'm going to add that for two reasons. One, there's a lot going on in the back, and there's probably going to be a lot going on in the front too once I have finished making the front, and I'm a little concerned that adding on the icing will just be too much. And two, if I add on the icing, I mean, it is a gingerbread dress, but I'd like to be able to wear it outside of Christmas. So if I add on the icing, it's going to be a very Christmas-inspired dress, very much you can only wear it at Christmas. But if I don't add on the icing, I could probably wear it outside of Christmas. So I'm going back and forth between whether or not I want to add the icing. But since the back is practically done, I think I'm going to put the bows on last, just because having all those tails going around is just going to be a pain in the butt. But since the back is practically done, I now have to focus on the front. And now it's for the scary bit. So far, nothing that I've done has really damage the dress. There is always, oh, I can always fix everything that I've done. I could even put the tie back in. So far, nothing has damaged the dress. I could put it back the way if I wanted to. Now is the moment I'm actually going to do some true damage. I need to cut the dress for the front gore. So I figured out where the front gores were going to be, and luckily this particular type of material, the corduroy, I finally figured out the name of the material. The corduroy material has lines in it, and this dress happens to have the corduroy material going up and down so that I have a very nice line that I can follow all the way to a little bit below the lace. So I don't want to go all the way up to the lace because the gore is going to need to sew up farther, and also I want room for the bows. And then again, we cut out my flounce, we cut out my gore. This time, originally I had planned on doing a 4-inch, or originally I had planned on doing a 6-inch. It wound up being way too small again. I unfortunately, that did mess up my material, so I couldn't do very big. I think I wound up getting about a 10-inch gore on either side, maybe a little bit smaller than that. I would have liked it to be bigger, but I messed it up. I didn't do measurements beforehand, and that's my fault. Then I'll pin both the gore and the flounce in place once again, and sewed it down. For this one, I really didn't want to lose very much of the actual skirt, so I used a very small seam allowance to put in this gore. And then once that's done, I can tack down the lace ribbon at the waistband. I decided just to tack down the front of the waistband. I didn't really want to bother with the back because the back was actually behaving as it should. The front was what I was having the issue. So I went ahead and tacked down just the tips of each of the points on the waist ribbon.
And of course we cannot forget about the gumdrop buttons. So I added a row of pearl beads down the front and center to make the buttons.
And then last but not least, we're gonna add on the red bows. Originally I had planned on putting a bow on each of the gores, but unfortunately the bow for the front gores was too big, so I wound up just putting a bow on the back gore just by hand sewing it in place. Eventually I will have to remove the bow and replace it with something else because it's a tree topper, so it's not supposed to go through the washing machine. It's done! Alright, let me give you a good turn. I'm so happy with this dress. It turned out so much better than I thought it would. And I'm so happy with it. So let's talk review. Let's talk the good, the bad, and the ugly. For the good, it's perfect. Like, the shape is great. It's much more, okay, I do have to wear a tulle skirt underneath it because it does look weird if I'm not wearing something underneath it to give it the volume now, but it looks so much better with the volume. Like, when it was not as big of a skirt, it was kind of frumpy, and I think that it looks so much better now. And I think the fit in the back is much better as well. The tulle up here is a much better fit. Wound up going with 3 layers. I don't remember if I said that. And it's not too see-through that it's kind of like, why did you even put it there? But it's not too opaque that it's just like frumpy or clunky or something like that. So I do love that. The lace around the torso, it does make the waist look a little bit lower because even now my waist should be like here, but it's a little too high on me, but it's fine. It's not noticeable if I didn't point it out, especially with the addition of the tulle skirt because the skirt comes out from there. I did wind up going with the pearls for the gumdrop buttons, and I think that was probably a much better choice than the red jewels that I was gonna do. This is the bow that I was going to put on the front. It's just too big, I think, for this particular bit. I might go and get some smaller ribbon to make bows out of to put there, but right now this is just too big and it doesn't fit. So I wound up deciding not to have the red ribbons in the front, and unfortunately I do think it needs something here, so that's a little bit of the bad. It needs something there just to kind of hide that corner bit of the gore. Another issue that I have is I didn't do an amazing job of making sure that the gores were flat at the bottom. It's not super noticeable for anybody unless you know about it. So the gores are not completely flat, and if like I hold it out straight, you can see the curved bottom of the gore. But again, not super noticeable. I don't really care all that much. The ugly thing is something that I can't really fix, and that is the sleeves. I barely have to do anything and all of a sudden my sleeves are coming off. Which this would be cute if it weren't for the fact that it would have my whole dress falling off. So yeah, I don't like the sleeves, but that was part of the original dress and there's nothing I can do about that. Another thing that I wound up dropping was the puff paint icing. I decided against that because I feel like if I do the puff paint icing, this dress is not wearable outside of Christmas. But as it is, it's very much a gingerbread dress, but I can wear it all year long, which I live in Florida, so right now, today is a little cold for this dress, but like a couple days ago it was in the 70s, so I could have worn this dress. But of course I chose the day it's in the 40s to wear the dress. But this dress is very much a dress that is all year long. It's short, it's not too warm, so I would like to be able to wear it all year long. But if I put the icing on, it's a gingerbread Christmas dress. But I'm so proud of it, and it did not take me all that long at all. It took me pretty much one day. Although I did like a lot of the shopping and a lot of the prep work leading up to the day, I actually did most of the sewing yesterday. And even the one piece of sewing that I did before yesterday, I actually redid because I had to add extra tulle on. So pretty much the entirety of the changes were done yesterday throughout the day, and I am so happy with it. You can't even imagine how happy I am with it. So oh, and I'm also like super happy because it gives Lolita vibes, and I've been wanting a Lolita dress for ages, but I'm not really a Lolita, so like I couldn't justify the price of a Lolita dress, but now I have something that could be considered Lolita, I think. Certainly not true Lolita, I don't think, but I think it could at least be minor Lolita maybe. But that's enough of that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, just let me know in the comments down below. And if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you want more fantasy content, sewing clothes, so I do cosplays sometimes, I do fantasy fashion other times, then go ahead and give me a follow, and I'll see you in the next video. Captured! We have a visitor! He's like, what's going on, Mom? Mom, what are you doing? What are you doing?